The NL West, one of the game's best rivalries, continues as we send you out to the city by the bay.
On a tragic and emotional day in San Francisco, they prepare the field for this great rivalry. One of the best in all of sports. It's the San Francisco Giants hosting the Los Angeles Dodgers on a beautiful day here in the city by the bay. It's baseball night in America. It's yours right now on Fox. And now welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. Tim McCarver and Ken Rosenthal are both coming up. Well,
The defending world champs are looking up at the rest of the NL West. One of the game's best rivalries continues as we send you out to the city by the bay.
On a tragic and emotional day in San Francisco, they prepare the field for this great rivalry. One of the best in all of sports. It's the San Francisco Giants hosting the Los Angeles Dodgers on a beautiful day here in the city by the bay. It's baseball night in America. It's yours right now on Fox. And now welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. Tim McCarver and Ken Rosenthal are both coming up. Well, this is definitely a matchup of two teams headed in opposite directions. About a month ago, the defending champion San Francisco Giants were right there near the top of the division. Nobody was worried about them. They are struggling mightily right now, taking on a Dodger team that a month ago all anybody wanted to talk about was the job status of manager Don Mattingly, all the money misspent, and all the wasted money for the payroll. Well, guess what? The Dodgers are one of, if not the hottest teams in Major League Baseball. More on them in a second. But, Tim, right now, for the Giants coming off a 1-8 road trip, they got blasted last night, and they are not hitting the ball at all.
Well, the Giants have won 2 World Series over the last 3 years because they picked up their ineffective hitting with great starting pitching. But this year, that same ineffective hitting is affecting the pitching, the defense, the base running. The one good note for the Giants today, they had their most consistent pitcher going, Madison Bumgarner.
Taking on a Dodgers lineup that is so hot, and you look at the obvious reason, Yasiel Puig, he's not alone. 2 guys right now leading this Dodgers lineup, and they're tough to slow down.
Yeah, Hanley Ramirez and Yasiel Puig, 2 guys that have led the Dodgers over the last month or so, but this infusion of energy that Puig has given the Dodgers just cannot be overstated. I mean, this guy is the talk of baseball and will continue to be as long as he continues to perform like that.
Yeah, hit 420 and you're going to be the talk of Major League Baseball.
Yes.
This is a game between 2 teams headed in opposite directions.
She is gone. And the Giants win it after the 20.
The weather is perfect. The rivalry heated. Baseball night in America. Next on Fox. And when you come on the air saying it's a tragic, emotional day, the reason being not far from here at San Francisco International Airport, that horrific plane crash. And so all of our best wishes and our thoughts with those affected by that plane crash not far from here. So we play baseball and we renew this rivalry between the Dodgers and the Giants, and we'll remind you that the opening pitch is brought to you by Budweiser. From May to July, buying Budweiser benefits military families. And we'll give you the Taco Bell starting lineup for the Dodgers. Taco Bell, sometimes you gotta live Moss. Carl Crawford leads it off in left. Yasiel Puig is batting second and right. Adrian Gonzalez hits third. Hanley Ramirez, the shortstop. Juan Uribe was absolutely on fire last night. Then you've got Ethier in center. Fedorovich is the catcher. Nick Punto at second. And Stephen Fife pitches and bats ninth. And here is the left-hander Madison Bumgarner. And he's been the one guy they can rely on. He's been very good, 8-5 overall.
And he's been the one guy who can beat the Dodgers. He's pitched very well in his last 3 starts, giving up only 3 runs.
Carl Crawford was activated from the disabled list yesterday, and he takes a strike 93-mile-per-hour fastball from Bumgarner, and we're underway on this Saturday, July the 6th. And now ball one sails up and away. Crawford missed a little over a month with a bad hamstring. He is back, and just when the Dodgers thought they were going to have to squeeze 4 outfielders into 3 spots. As this is a swing and a miss on a nasty pitch down and away 1-2. The Dodgers saw Matt Kemp injure his AC joint in his left shoulder last night. He is out today and likely out tomorrow. Here is a 1-2 pitch from Bumgarner. Little pop up into left and easy for Torres. 1 out.
His teammates refer to him affectionately as Mad Bum. He's turned into the stopper of the staff. Deceptive motion. I think Carl Crawford got a good look at that. And as we said, he's been effective against the Dodgers over his last 3 starts this year.
Here is Yasiel Puig. And you said it during our open, but for somebody who has seen as much baseball as you have over the years, as Bumgarner brings it and Puig swings through it, strike 1. I mean, this first month and this debut splash, as you see what he's hit in the first inning, this is unlike any I can remember. But what about you?
I've never seen anything like it, Joe. There have been similar guys who have come up at the beginning of the season, had good Aprils, but none to compare with what Puig has done.
Hit over 500 in spring training. And when you talk to his teammates, they'll tell you he is absolutely for real and has been a joy to be around since he was brought up on June the 3rd, as he goes after one up and now is in the hole 1-2.
Well, what the National League's trying to figure out right now is how to pitch him. And I think just from watching him last night, watching a few games on television, first time seeing him personally, you got to come inside and impress him inside.
And a strikeout for out number 2 as Bumgarner gets the hot shot rookie 2 out.
It's like a cut fastball off the plate away. If he has any weakness, it's swinging at bad balls and being too aggressive at the plate.
So a guy that's hitting .615 during the first inning goes down swinging, and Bumgarner, who is not going to say almost unbeatable because that's too much, but he's 20-5 over his last 30 starts here at home. He likes that mound. He likes pitching in this ballpark that plays big. And he misses outside to Adrian Gonzalez, ball 1. Adrian hitting .300 and described himself earlier this week as a singles hitter.
I saw that.
Here's strike 1. Dodgers have to be thinking, wait a minute now. We're not paying that for a singles hitter, and he hit home runs in 3 straight games earlier in the week. There's Don Mattingly, the manager, and what a difference a few weeks can make with his stress level. 1-1 pitch is in on the hand, strike 2.
Good inside fastball to Gonzalez. That's what all left-handed pitchers have to establish inside to left-handed hitters. Then you can go away.
They are revved up in San Francisco. And why not? Their 23-year-old left-hander, one of the game's best, has a perfect first. Area here in San Francisco, and we'll give you a look at the starting lineup, brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. The Giants are looking for hits. Who can come up with hits? Gregor Blanco leads it off. Marcos Scutero, an all-star, bats second. Buster Posey, an all-star, bats third. Then Sandoval, Pence, Belt, Torres, Crawford, Bumgarner pitching and batting ninth. And here is the right-hander Stephen Fife, who really had a good month of June.
We were talking to Stephen yesterday, and I said, "You prefer Steve or Stephen?" He said, "I prefer Steve. My mother prefers Stephen, so it's going to be Stephen from these broadcasters' stance."
Smart kid and smart analyst. Leading it off is Gregor Blanco. He is one of the guys really struggling for the Giants. Takes a strike. It's Blanco, Scutero, and Sandoval for the Giants, who find themselves 5.5 out. With the entire division looking up to Arizona, the Diamondbacks beat Colorado 5-0 last night. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a fly ball down the left field line into the corner. It's fair and hops out of play for a ground rule double.
This breaks an 0 for 25 for Gregor Blanco. Just fair, and a double to lead off for the Giants.
So Blanco, that has to feel good. He is on that list with Sandoval, Brandon Crawford, Scutero, as guys who have struggled at the end of June and into the first week of July. Here's Scutero, who gets another important line added to his resume by being an all-star. He bunts in the air. It's a short hop for out number 1, and over to third goes Blanco on a sacrifice by Scutero, and I'll ask you what you think of that.
I think it's the right play. The Giants are having a tough time scoring runs. Why not try little ball? And they do that. However, Uribe did not get a good jump on the ball. Had he, Blanco has to hold up at second base to make sure the ball bounces in front of Uribe. So the Giants have one at a runner at third base, and obviously the Dodgers playing their infield back. I say obviously. Some would play him in right here, but not the way the Dodgers are hitting and scoring runs.
So here is Buster Posey with a runner at third. Last week, the National League Player of the Week, and that's hard to do when your team is suffering through a 6-game losing streak and a 1-8 road trip. Then they came back here to their home park last night and lost to the Dodgers 10-2. Here comes an 0-1 from Fife. That drops in for strike 2. Infield is back. They'll give up the run for the out.
The only way there'd be a play at the plate is a ground ball hit sharply to Uribe at third.
Fife trying to get around that leadoff double. Giants trying to jump on top, and Fedorovich, the catcher, requests time prior to the 0-2 pitch. Dodgers come in having won 11 of their last 13. The Giants have struggled scoring runs, and now the infield comes in for LA. Here's the 0-2. Just slapping at it to spoil the pitch is Posey.
Posey thinks differently with 2 strikes. He tries to go the other way, shortens up his swing. Look at that. The Giants 1 for 24, their last 24, with runners in scoring position.
And 3 for their last 40 over the last 8 games. They don't need a hit. They just need something to produce a run. And that'll do it. Down the right field line, in to score is Blanco. Digging for 2 is Posey. 1-0 San Francisco.
They had the right guy up there with the infield drawn in off the base. At first base is Adrian Gonzalez, and Posey, true to form, goes to right for RBI number 49 on the year.
And now Don Mattingly is going to come out. This is interesting because there was a discrepancy on the lineup card, and I think that's what Don Mattingly is saying. He waited until the at-bat was complete, and obviously Mattingly had Sandoval hitting third and Posey hitting cleanup. And there it is right there on their lineup card. And so Mattingly goes out, and he's going to check the official lineup card that was handed out at home plate prior to the game. And if they hit out of order, then the batter would be deemed out.
Right, and the runner, Gregor Blanco, has to go back to third base. Of all the things happening to the Giants, yet another. And no one caught the mistake, evidently. Yeah, Posey is out, and Blanco goes back to third.
I looked down at my lineup and was just going to switch it later and get the whiteout out.
I did the same thing.
But here's a Giants team that can't score runs right now. They finally, as you said, get a run, and they hit out of order. So out is Posey. And we'll get the explanation, or at least the Giants will. And it was a brief one and no argument put up by Bruce Bochy. As Posey came up, Sandoval was in the on-deck circle, and on the official lineup card, they were hitting the other way. Back to third is Blanco. Out is Posey.
Now who hits? Is it Sandoval or Hunter Pence?
Or does Posey get to go again?
The Giants would love for that to happen. And he's getting the pine tar, and I believe you're right. That's what's going to happen. I haven't seen this in 35 years.
I'm glad you said that. I've never seen it.
Man.
But you look at where the Giants are, 5.5 out, and Posey gets back-to-back at bats.
And Sandoval takes an offer without coming to bat, I guess.
We'll have to check with the official score to see how it goes down, but here's Buster Posey. The crowd here has got to be going, wait a minute.
Stunned, stupefied, as we are.
But beyond that, I mean, there's no announcement given as to what the heck just happened. They have no idea.
There are 2 outs and not 1 on the scoreboard. That gives them a pretty good clue.
Well, yeah, but still, why would be the obvious question among fans as a breaking ball is in for a strike to Posey, who bats in consecutive at-bats. And an embarrassing turn of events here for the Giants, as Posey flies one into right center field. Puig is trying to find it. He has it, and through all that, it's a scoreless first.
Man.
And this crowd is wondering what just happened. The Giants hit out of order, and because of it, after 1, no score. Go boost, fuel economy, and a whole lot more. And by Taco Bell, sometimes you gotta live Moss. Let's listen to Tony Randazzo and Don Mattingly.
If you hit out of turn, they had Sandoval third and Posey fourth.
Okay. Batting out of order.
That's a home plate umpire, Tony Randazzo, who was alerted to the discrepancy in the lineup card. And what it goes down as officially is Sandoval is 0 for 1. It goes put out to the catcher, in this case Fedorovich, and then Posey in consecutive at bats. First he doubled, that didn't count, that went as an out because he hit out of order, and then Posey flied to right, and the Giants waste a leadoff double and a sacrifice bunt in their half of the first. And here's a strike from Bumgarner, who looks here early like he's brought his good stuff to the park. Hanley Ramirez, Juan Uribe, and Andre Ethier, the middle 3 in the order for the Dodgers after Bumgarner pitched a perfect first. Good pitch from the lefty, and Ramirez, who's been as hot as his teammate Puig, basically swings over the top of it. It's 0-2.
Joe, I think that had Don Mattingly called attention to Posey batting out of order while he was batting, then Bruce Bochy could have made the change of Sandoval for Posey, and no harm, no foul. I think that's right.
I agree, and that's why he waited until the at-bat was over. I agree with you 100%. That pitch is up, and a 1-2 count on Hanley Ramirez.
Even moved the infield in. You know, playing it strategically like Posey was supposed to be hitting there.
And no argument put up by Bruce Bochy.
None.
Here's a 1-2. And now Ramirez loses his bat. It sails into, of all things, it looked like an empty seat and then bounced back into that kid's lap. And this place is packed. It looked like it hit an empty spot. It did. Hit seat number 1. But to go back to that, and Hanley Ramirez is booed. He's going to give that bat to that fan. He's booed here in San Francisco. And so whoever that kid is now is going to get the bat. Now he's going to switch it for one that comes out of the dugout.
That's right. That's what normally happens.
As if that kid has an emotional attachment to the other one. Hanley Ramirez wants that bat back, and why not? Can't be any hotter, hitting .413 with 7 homers, 20 RBIs. He's dealt with a broken thumb, then a pulled hamstring, but he's come back. And for as great as Puig has been, his teammates will tell you this guy could be the MVP by the end of the year. A 1-2 pitch, 2-2. But to go back to that bottom of the first situation with the Giants hitting out of order and the packed house here at AT&T Park not having any idea, you wonder if at some point an announcement should be made to the crowd here to explain what they just witnessed.
Sure. Would make sense.
Here's a 2-2. It obviously happens in the NFL with the referee flipping the mic and making the announcement not just to the televised audience but to the house and to the stadium. And something like that should happen here or any other ballpark where something out of the ordinary happens. Counts full on Hanley Ramirez, leading it off in the second against Bumgarner, who brings it home, and Ramirez pops it up. Long run for Scudero, and that was not an easy play. 1 out. Let's listen to more sounds of the game here in San Francisco.
Everywhere. Really?
Headed in the clubhouse. Scoreboard.
Yeah. Hey, congrats on the All-Star game.
Well, you could hear, if you couldn't hear the beginning, Buster Posey said, I'm listed third everywhere in the clubhouse, on the scoreboard, but evidently not on the official lineup card that was handed out before today's game. Doesn't matter what the media sees, it's what's handed out at home plate. That's why they do it. And there was a difference with Sandoval hitting third and Posey fourth on the official lineup card. Here's Uribe, who had an unbelievable night here last night. Former San Francisco Giant had 7 RBIs, had a 2-run double, a 3-run triple, and a 2-run home run, and lacked only this single to hit for the cycle. In his final at bat, he struck out. Here comes a 2-0 pitch. That's out of play, 2-1. Ken Rosenthal is with us. Ken, I know you're digging through the rule book down there. What do you have?
I actually am, Joe, and it's Rule 607B. Here it goes. When an improper batter becomes a runner and the defensive team appeals to the umpire before the first pitch to the next batter or before any player attempted play, the umpire shall, 1, declare the proper batter out, which happened, and 2, nullify any advance or score made because of a ball batted by the improper batter. Umpires got this right.
Thanks, Ken. 3 balls and a strike with 1 out, nobody on. And Bumgarner brings home another to Uribe, who pops it up. Belt gives it a look. Will it stay in play? It will not. And so a full count. The umpires, so you know, Tony Randazzo behind the plate, Larry Vanover at first base, Brian Gorman, who is the crew chief, at second, and Manny Gonzalez is over at third. Uribe now hitting .280 with his 5 home runs, 27 RBIs, and wouldn't the Dodgers love to add his bat getting hot to this lineup. He strikes out, and that's number 3 already for Bumgarner. 2 out in the second.
So much frustration offensively for these Giants, and then this has to happen. They finally get a run driven in, but it's not driven in. And Pablo Sandoval has to take an offer with the runner in scoring position.
So Sandoval, during that stretch which ended July the 3rd, 1 for his last 29. Ends up making an out without it not even getting to the plate. That's when you know things are going bad.
Oh my God.
Strike 1 on Ethier, who is hitting just .228 since 2007 against left-handed pitching. But he is in there. Matt Kemp is out. They don't think it's a serious injury, as Kemp took a swing and then dropped the bat in last night's opener of this 3-game series. He irritated his left AC joint in the second inning, but they don't believe it's anything long term, and it's in a different area what he had operated on leading into this season. Here's a 1-1 pitch with 2 out. Kind of a cue shot to short. Crawford makes the play, and a 1-2-3 second. Bottom of the second rolls in. Giants coming up. Pence, Belt, and Torres, we think, in that order. No score. Limerita, and introducing new Strawberita. Give you the Ford keys to the game, as brought to you by the one and only Timothy McCarver.
Well, the Dodgers 1 month ago, June 3rd to be exact, has changed their year. And for the Giants, looking for anything positive, and that one thing positive has not happened yet. In fact, a negative thing in the first inning.
Here's Hunter Pence. Pence is part of that vote-in process of the 5 players that can get the online vote to become an all-star. That's 1 out. Stepped to the plate, hitting .272, 13 home runs, 43 RBIs. His manager, Bruce Bochy, is the manager for the National League side in the All-Star game coming up on the 16th in New York. And so Bruce has had to deal with all that extracurricular stuff while his team's not hitting, and has fallen into last place in the NL West.
It's a tough job both ways, dealing with the All-Star team and dealing with a team that's not hitting at all.
But the All-Star part of it is well worth it, as Belt is grazed by the pitch. to put him on with one out here in the second. The all-star part of it is well worth it if you come off an appearance, and in the Giants case, maybe more than a grazing of the left leg of Brandon Belt, but he went down to first with no issue. In the Giants case, they won it all, and they've won the World Championship and the World Series 2 of the last 3 years. Here's Andres Torres. To me, one of the secret weapons the Giants have, try and get them out of this funk as Torres takes a strike, and to try and get things back in line, is their manager, Bruce Bochy.
He's a great asset, no question.
I think the most underrated manager in the game. Obviously, just the success he's had in the recent years, but a great body of work and a manager who seems to know how to push the right buttons. He guided his team through losing Melky Cabrera to the suspension last year. They picked up and moved on. He manages a bullpen as well as any manager in the game, but he just has a nice feel for what his club needs to hear on a daily basis. Here's a swinging strike to make it 1-2 on Torres. Switch hitter hitting just .200 against right-handed pitching, .266 overall. And he bats with 1 on 1 out after a hit batsman. Tough play. Gonzalez, and safe at second to put 2 on with 1 out.
Boy, that had trouble written all over it. Fife was late in breaking toward first. Gonzalez realizes his only play is at second. And Brandon Belt, who's a big guy but can run, hustling into second base. He knew that play was going to be on him. He peeked over his left shoulder, knowing Gonzalez's only play was to try to get him at second.
And in kind of an odd-looking play, a good call by Brian Gorman, the crew chief. As you can see, that Belt was safe, clearly, getting to the bag before the throw by Gonzalez. Now it's 2 on with 1 out. And the batter is Brandon Crawford, who is 7 for 54 since the middle of June. Strike 1. Good breaking ball from Stephen Fife, a right-hander, 26 years old, 3rd year in the Dodger organization, and originally a 3rd-round draft pick by the Red Sox in 2008. 2 on 1 out. The 0-1 pitch is grounded to second. Punto out at second. No safe. Everybody's safe, and the bases are loaded. Ramirez did not have the ball with a foot on the bag, and the ball hasn't left the infield, and the Giants have the bases loaded, 1 out.
Casey Stengel's famous quote, "Can anybody play this game?" comes to mind. No out at second, no out at first. That pulls Ramirez off the bag. Punto's throw, not even there, not even close to the bag. He actually had time to stop, step on the bag. So it's an error on Nick Punto.
And now Madison Bumgarner bats with the bases loaded, 1 out.
What a bizarre start to this game. My God.
Hit batsman, infield hit, an error. And now it's up to the Giants pitcher to do something about this opportunity here in the second inning. Ball 1 from Fife. Belt the lead runner. He was hit by a pitch. Infield base hit for Torres, and Crawford reached on the error.
Bumgarner, not a bad hitter for a pitcher. He has 5 hits this year. Takes a lot of pride in his hitting.
Also has 2 RBIs. Fastball for a strike. Gregor Blanco on deck. But this opportunity may rest with this at bat by the Giants pitcher Bumgarner. Breaking ball stays up and in, ball 2. That number keeps getting uglier. Chance for Bumgarner and the Giants here in the second. The 2-1. Upstairs again.
I question that call, Joe. A 2-1 curveball to a pitcher? I mean, come on. The best pitch Fife can get over is a fastball. And a 2-1 count with no place to put the pitcher. Clearly a fastball's in order.
And he walks him.
He walked him on that 2-1 pitch.
And it's 1-0 Giants here in the second on a bases loaded walk to Madison Bumgarner. First walk of the day for Fife. And Gregor Blanco will step in, having doubled. Looked like he had scored a run until it was brought to the attention of the umpires by Don Mattingly that the Giants hit out of order. And so he is 1 for 1.
This whole game's out of order.
Here's one back off the pitcher's glove. Punto tried to flip for the out. Everybody's safe. 2-0 Giants as Torres crosses the plate.
Punto tried to throw that ball behind his back to Ramirez covering. Unable to come up with it. Actually, Fife made contact, slowed it down. Watch Punto feel the ball and try to go behind his back.
And so everybody moves up one spot. It's 2-0 and Scudero, one of 3 All-Stars for the Giants, steps in. Ball 1 from Fife. Crawford the runner at third, Bumgarner at second. And Blanco is 2 for 2 on at first with an RBI hit. Strike 1.
Giants have scored 2 runs in this inning without getting the ball out of the infield.
And it started with a hit batsman with 1 out. Brandon Belt hit on the left leg. That's since Scudero's first day as a San Francisco Giant. He's been great. Breaking ball is not working for Stephen Fife. Just rolling to the plate, and it's 2-1.
It's a lot tougher for pitchers to throw curveballs from the stretch, and Fife is proving that in this inning. Just all his curveballs have been high.
The 2-1 is flied into right center field. Puig going to get it. Tagging and scoring is Crawford. And it's 3-0 Giants here in the second.
The whole game is out of order. Puig airmailing this ball about 100 feet in the air. Watch this throw. Fedorovich is short hop, and Fife comes up with it, and he doesn't know how.
And just in case there was a play at the plate, Crawford, a little left arm to Fedorovich.
Yeah. He came back, and he did touch home plate. I think he touched it the first time around, too, and finally we get to Sandoval.
Yes, Sandoval is 0 for 1 in the game, but has yet to step to the plate. Runners at first and second, 2 out. Strike 1. Pablo's been struggling, hitting only 160 since the 1st of June. But he's hitting 368 with runners in scoring position. Off the hand, strike 2. Now Bumgarner, the lead runner at second, with Blanco behind him. The 0-2 from Fife. Left center field. Ethier to his right there to make the catch, and the inning is over. But a 3-run second for the Giants. 3 runs for Bumgarner to play with here on Saturday in San Francisco. Back after this from your local Fox station. On a beautiful day in San Francisco, aerial coverage of today's game brought to you by the Minions, flying the Despicablimp, and Universal's animated comedy Despicable Me 2, now playing everywhere. As we move to the 3rd inning, this Dodger team looking for their first base runner. Tim Fedorovich leading it off, then Nick Punto, then Stephen Fife. 3-0 the Giants lead after a 3-run second. That's upstairs, a ball and a strike. At the moment, the only Dodger representative on the All-Star team is Clayton Kershaw. And he is scheduled to pitch the Sunday before the game, so that would eliminate him from being able to appear in the game. He still gets the notoriety of being an all-star, but he would be replaced.
I get your point. That means the Dodgers would have no representative eligible to play.
But they still have a quote-unquote all-star, so you don't have to worry about that with every team needing a rep. Pretty good pitch there, and the count 2-2.
Home plate umpire Tony Randazzo thought it was low, very close.
Here's a 2-2, fouled away. There are 2 Dodgers on the final vote, Adrian Gonzalez and Yasiel Puig, joined by Hunter Pence of these Giants, Freddie Freeman of Atlanta, and Ian Desmond of the Nationals.
Ian Desmond having a terrific year for the Nationals.
Here's a 2-2 again, and foul tip. The three of us, meaning Ken Rosenthal, you, and I, had a nice discussion last week on a Yankee-Oriole game about whether, in our opinions, Yasiel Puig should be an all-star. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Down and in, a full count. Kenny and I say yes. Tim McCarver says it hasn't been enough of a sample size. It's been too soon. Here's a 3-2, and Fedorovich pops it up into right. Hunter Pence is there, one out. And we go to Matt Vasgersian at the MLB Network studios for a game break.
Joe, Braves and Phillies. Andrelton Simmons leading off the ball game, his 7th of the year. Top of the second inning, Dan Uggla would follow with his 16th of the season. Of note, Atlanta is 44-11 when they homer, 5-26 when they don't. Braves trying to snap a 7-game road slide on top, 3-0 early in Philly. Back to you and Tim.
At the start of the day, thanks, Matt, it was a 5-game lead in the East for Atlanta. With one out, here is the number 8 hitter, Nick Punto. Strike one from Bumgarner. Nick is hitting .265. He's been very good against left-handed pitching. .339 this year. And he takes a strike to make it 0-2. Fife, the pitcher, on deck. And with an 0-2 count, that skips in ball one. Tim. There it is.
Puig factor, and a large Puig factor. This is a large T-shirt, by the way. Yeah, extra large.
Have you changed your mind at all? Do you think he should be an all-star?
I've softened my stance, but haven't changed my mind. That's as honest as I can be.
Okay.
I think I don't think 5 weeks is enough time to determine whether you should be an all-star or not. But if he's on, as I told you last week, it's not like I'm not going to show up.
Right. You're not going to boycott the game if
No.
Puig is not part of the National League side. But as we said last week, and it's repetitive, but the majority of our audience watching us today weren't watching last week. Not
Sure.
that it was a memorable, award-winning conversation, but to me, he's one of the few guys in Major League Baseball where when you know he's coming up, you don't go to the restroom, you don't go get something to drink. You want to see him hit. And even the casual fan or the non-baseball fan is aware of this 22-year-old from Cuba. And I just think it's good for the game. It's exciting. And Kenny went through the different numbers. Part of a 34-man roster. Finding a spot for somebody as talked about and as good after a month as Puig, I think it'd be good for that ball game. That's strikeout number 4 for Madison Bumgarner. But you, Tim, are in the camp with a lot of Major League Baseball people.
I think so.
Players, other managers, including Bruce Bochy, could have named him as an all-star. He kind of took the other route. And as he told us, he covered himself by putting him on that list. He makes the list of the 5 guys that can be voted on online for that final spot.
And I certainly admire the enthusiasm of those that think Puig should be on the team. But after only 5 weeks, there are a guy like Ian Desmond who is more deserving, for instance, than Puig.
That's strike 2. Stephen Fife, the pitcher for the Dodgers, at the plate. And Bumgarner has him sized up for his 5th strikeout of the day. Either way, if he gets him, he will have retired the first 9. He has retired the first 9. We go to the bottom of the 3rd here in San Francisco. 3-0 Giants on top. starting the day at 39 and 46, 5.5 out, and Buster Posey, who got consecutive at bats in the first inning because he hit out of order. We have a little bit of a clue as to why that may have happened, and we got it from Dave Righetti. He was in his 14th season as pitching coach here with the Giants. We had a chance to visit with him during the break, and it's always good to visit with a pitching coach when their starter is off to the kind of start Bumgarner's off to in this game, as the count goes to 0-2 on Posey, who's hitting in the cleanup spot. If you're just joining us, in the first inning, he came to the plate with Blanco at third, 1 out, batting in the number 3 spot, when on the official lineup card he was listed as the cleanup batter. And so after he hit what looked like an RBI double, he was called out because Don Mattingly, the manager of the Dodgers, brought it to the attention of the umpire. And by the way, Ken went through the rule, but there's a comment on the rule in the rule book talking about how the umpire shall not direct the attention of any person to the presence in the batter's box of an improper batter. It's designed to require constant vigilance by the players and managers of both teams. It's not up to the umpire to say you're in the wrong spot. That's up to the two managers. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Fife thought he had him. Instead, it's outside, a full count. Fedorovich tried to frame it. And now the 3-2 is chopped to Uribe. He takes care of his former teammate, 1 out, and here is Dave Righetti. First question was about just how good Madison Bumgarner has started this game.
Yeah, it's what you want your starters to go out there and make an impression, so to speak, and get the ball game off to a good start. So he's doing that. Yeah.
Speaking of good starts, about 30 years ago, plus what, 2 days, you had that good start at Yankee Stadium, the no-hitter. You think about it a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah, the way baseball is now, and everything's on TV, and the guys, the replays and it comes up a lot, and it's made it more popular than it was even back then. So yeah, I was just a lucky guy on a lucky day. Yeah,
and a pretty darn good pitcher as well. Have you been around this game a long time? Have you ever seen what happened in the first inning with your team hitting out of order happen in a ball game?
No, but it's the first time that in my 37 years in the game, that there's a new electronic scoreboard inside our clubhouse, and I think it threw some of the guys off. They put it up on our scoreboard outside wrong, and they get guys confused. But it started with inside the clubhouse on those newfangled things.
All right, well, there you go. Newfangled isn't always so great. Thanks, Rags.
Okay,
thanks,
guys.
Rags.
All right.
Righetti, who was watching as Hunter Pence was knocked down by a pitch from Stephen Fife. There's the scoreboard here in the stadium, but as you heard, there's an electronic scoreboard in the clubhouse, which obviously had Sandoval and Posey flip-flop. Here's a ground ball to Hanley Ramirez, gathers it in, and just got him at first. Pence shaking his head, no big argument, but this was close.
There are a lot of major leaguers who wouldn't run as hard as Hunter Pence did. That was a very, very close play at first base.
I thought he was safe.
Pence thought he had it beat too. I agree with you.
The toes, it looked like, got on the bag before the throw was secured.
He's
right
safe.
There.
Yep. Sometimes infielders take plays like that as too routine. Sometimes umpires do too.
Instead, it's out number 2. And a ball up and away to Brandon Belt, who was hit by a pitch, and that started that 3-run 2-hit rally. It also had an error mixed in for the Giants in the second. Here's a base hit through the right side, and Belt is on base for the second time in this game. And Hunter Pence, who's just constant energy down in that dugout, I'm sure believes he just had a hit taken away.
It's a big play too, so instead of first and third and 1 out, the Giants have a runner at first base and 2 outs.
Batter now is Torres. 1 on, 2 out. 3-0 Giants. Throw down by Fedorovich, and it has to be corralled by Adrian Gonzalez after ball one.
I think Tim slipped as he tried to make a throw behind Andres Torres.
Belted first. Good curveball that time. That's a pitch that's not been there or dependable for Fife in this game yet. That was a good one. Strike one. Torres singled an infield single and scored a run in the second. Playing in the third, a 3-0 Giants lead. That's upstairs, 2-1. Off the end of the bat, fouled back, 2-2. Talked to Ken Rosenthal either here in the third inning or at the start of the fourth about the trade market and how close the Dodgers may be to adding a veteran right-hander in the very near future. Belt takes off, throw down by Fedorovich in time, inning over.
Good throw.
Good throw by the young catcher Tim Fedorovich. And Belt, who has 3 steals now, has been caught twice this season. We go into the fourth inning with Yasiel Puig coming up for the Dodgers. He'll bat second. Top of the order coming up. LA batting down by 3. Pain reliever of MLB. And by Ford, only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more. That's the Crab Station at Fisherman's Wharf here in San Francisco, as Bumgarner has yet to allow a base runner and will deal with Crawford, Puig, and Adrian Gonzalez here for the Dodgers. LA happy to have Crawford back. He fly to left his first time up. One of those rare combinations of power and speed. He has 116 triples in his career, over 120 home runs, and over 440 stolen bases. It was a disappointment with the Red Sox. Was off to a good start this year for the Dodgers when he injured his hamstring. He's reaching for this pitch, and Scutaro scoots to his right and makes the play, 1 out. Crawford 0 for 2, and Puig will be the batter. Yasiel had 44 hits during the month of June. He was brought up on the 3rd of June. The Dodgers needed some form of life in their lineup. He provided that instantly. He's described as a 5-tool player.
Nobody will argue with that.
You look at his month, June 2013. First month of his MLB career. He's number 2 to the great Joe DiMaggio.
And he missed 2 days, June 1st and 2nd.
He pops it up, right side, foul ball, and it will get out of play. And a nice catch by that guy.
He was player of the month and rookie of the month in the same month. Since that award was established back in 1958, no other player can claim that.
And we touched on it briefly during his first at bat. You talk to his teammates and they say he's different. He's different than guys they've played with. Here's a 1-1. Skip Schumacher, who played for years with Albert Pujols, said this is the first 5-tool player I've ever been around. And when you say 5-tool, hit for average, hit for power, has got speed, can field, and has a great arm. Here's a 2-1. 2-2, and Yasiel is trying to make an impact here in the 4th inning.
Mighty swing, and again inside from Bumgarner. We talked about it earlier. That seems to be his weakest point. In on the hands.
Now the 2-2 pitch from the San Francisco lefty. Got him for the 2nd time today.
High riding fastball, 2nd strikeout for Bumgarner of Puig. 6 strikeouts on the afternoon.
Kenny Rosenthal on his Twitter feed reported that the Dodgers are closing in on a trade with the Marlins for Ricky Nolasco. How close are they, Kenny?
Very close, Joe, and it certainly looks like it's going to happen. It's a case of the rich getting richer. The Dodgers will take on the remainder of Nolasco's salary, about $5.5 million. They'll give up 3 minor leaguers, none of them top guys in return. And for the Dodgers, this is a case where their rotation will get that much stronger. Right now, they've got Greinke, they've got Kershaw, they've got Rue. Nolasco will give them a 4th solid guy. Fife has also been good. The likely odd man out, Capuano.
The Capuano has been the one guy who's struggled while the Dodgers have gotten hot. The starter tomorrow is as good as anybody's starter in the big leagues, and Clayton Kershaw has got the Major League best ERA at 1.93. And there is a left-hander who will take on Chad Godin in tomorrow's series finale. Coming off a 4-hit shutout against Colorado is Kershaw. Here's a 1-2 pitch from Bumgarner, and off the hands, backing out of play. There's a matchup. And the numbers for Kershaw. And for Dodgers fans, you can tune in tomorrow on Prime Ticket for the final game of the series. Coverage starts at 12:30 Pacific. That's down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fourth inning, 2 out, nobody on. And Gonzalez in a battle with Bumgarner.
Sometimes, Joe, you can look at the outfielders and see how a team's going to try to pitch you. For instance, the Giants outfielders are shifted around toward left field. So there's probably not a chance of Bumgarner throwing a breaking ball to Gonzalez. But he'll stick with the fastball in hopes that he hits it the other way.
To the right side, Scudero. Nice play. Inning over. And no base runners for the Dodgers through 4. So far, the 23-year-old Madison Bumgarner is taking care of the 22-year-old sensation, Yasiel Puig. He struck him out in the first. Struck him out here in the fourth. Bottom of the fourth. 3-0 Giants. First pitch swinging is Andres Torres, and he fouls one left side out of play, strike one. Bottom of the fourth inning, 3-0 Giants, in a game they desperately need. A 3-run second inning on the strength of a couple of hits. Sac fly by Scudero. An error mixed in, and Bumgarner looks like he is on here this afternoon for the Giants. He has not allowed a base runner through 4. 0-2 the count on Torres.
And it's the way he's been doing it also, Joe, with 6 strikeouts. Only 1 ball hit out of the infield by the Dodgers.
Here is Ramirez to his left, and he boots it. Trickles into shallow center and into second with nobody out is Andres Torres.
Tell you, we have seen 2 instances of Giant runners doing what a lot of major league runners do not do. They leave the batter's box. They think their job is over. But both Pence and Torres running hard out of the batter's box, and Torres giving himself a chance to get to second base. Watch him bust it. Now turn. Now bust it again. A 2-base error by Ramirez.
And for a manager like Bruce Bochy with a team that's struggling, does he love seeing that?
Got that right.
Runner at second, nobody out. Here's Crawford. Meanwhile, Ramirez made the initial error, and it is an error. And then Andre Ethier, who hasn't played center field since his minor league days in the A's organization, was late coming in. And that allowed Torres to get into second base. Here's a 1-0 to Crawford. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brandon reached on an error and scored a run in that 3-run second. But yeah, Bruce Bochy's not going to let this team quit on him. We had a chance to visit with Don Mattingly,
whose team didn't quit on him.
Here's a high fly ball into right. Back is Puig on the track, makes the catch, shows off his arm and throws it all the way to third, but safe is Torres with one out.
He has thrown 2 rainbows tonight from right field. On a bright, sunshiny day, another rainbow from Puig.
But he showed the strength of that arm.
Oh, yeah. Not even thinking about hitting any kind of cutoff, man, unless the guy were 110 feet tall.
Here's Madison Bumgarner now. He drew a bases loaded walk for an RBI. The infield is in. Runner at third, one out. Here in the bottom of the fourth.
The Giants have a safety squeeze that they employ in situations like this.
Instead, here's Bumgarner with a fly ball to right. That will make it 4-0 Giants. And Madison Bumgarner doing it all here this afternoon has RBI number 2 on the day. And now let's go to Matt Vasgersian at the MLB Network studios for a game break.
Joe, how about an update between the Rail Riders and the Iron Pigs? Doing it because Derek Jeter's playing in his first rehab start at shortstop for the Yankees AAA club in Scranton-Wilkes-Barre. He's had 3 plate appearances, 0 for 2 with the base on balls. He has not had a chance at shortstop. He's expected to play 5 innings tonight. Joe, back to you and Tim in San Francisco.
All right, Matt, thank you. A lot to talk about with regard to the Yankees. They beat Baltimore today. They're now in that second wild card spot despite all the injuries, and they're getting, they hope, Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, and Curtis Granderson back after the break. Granderson is well behind the other 2.
Yankees have won 5 in a row. They beat Minnesota in Minneapolis and have won 2 in a row at the stadium against Baltimore.
Here is a strike to make it 1-1 on Gregor Blanco. So 2 RBIs on the day for Madison Bumgarner. 1 on a bases loaded walk. The next on a sac fly to right. And here is a shot down the right field line. Puig's been busy out in right. Plays it off the wall, and Blanco is going to hold at second with a 2-out double. And Gregor Blanco's 3 for 3.
2 doubles. A run scored, an RBI on an infield hit. You got to really, once again, give credit to Andres Torres going to second base on that ball that really set up that run. Fly ball to right, and then sac fly by Bumgarner.
So in a 4-0 game, Marcos Scutaro will be the hitter. Baseball night in America next Saturday. The Rockies and the Dodgers, the Rangers, Tigers, Cards and Cubs, Mets, Pirates, Nationals and Marlins. Runner at second, 2 out. A strike hits the inside corner to Scutaro. 37-year-old in his first All-Star game coming up in New York. Been battling a bad back most recently, but he is a tough player.
He really is.
He really added some grit and just a perfect number 2 hitter in this lineup when he was added by Brian Sabian, the general manager, last July. Big reason why they won it all. Good curveball from Fife, and that's strike 2. Runner at second, 2 out, and a 1-2 pitch. Left side for Ramirez, who handles this one, gets the out at first. The Giants get a run, lead 4-0 after 4 behind Madison Bumgarner. Baseball night in America into the 5th we go. Presented by Fox Sports 1, America's new sports network, coming August 17th. There are the numbers for Fife. The numbers all zeros after 4 innings for Madison Bumgarner. Except for in the strikeout department, he's got 6. He deals with the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. No base runners yet. Hanley Ramirez, Juan Uribe, and Andre Ethier for the Dodgers here in the 5th. Ball 1 outside. Ramirez popped up his first time. He's got more home runs as a shortstop hit than any other across baseball since 2006 with 148. The 1-0 pitch is in for a strike. A 3.06 average as a shortstop since 2006. The former Florida, Miami Marlin, minor leaguer with the Boston Red Sox, as the shadow starts to creep toward home plate. That bounces in. 2 balls and a strike. That average of 3.06. Number 2 among all shortstops to Derek Jeter, who, as we heard from Matt, is hitless in his return to action and his minor league rehab assignment for the Yankees. Ramirez has committed an error. Led to a run in the bottom of the 4th. Here's a 2-1. Out behind short. Crawford is there. 2 pop-outs for Hanley Ramirez so far in this game. Here's Don Mattingly. First question was about his starter and what he's seeing from Stephen Fife.
I think he's been okay. We gotta help him out a little bit. You know, give him the outs that we can take. Not trying to do too much, but we gotta help him out a little bit. Try to stay in this game and give ourselves a chance late with this guy.
At what point during the at bat by Buster Posey in the first inning were you aware that he and the Giants were hitting out of order?
As soon as we seen him get in there, Trey Hillman, the bench coach, we noticed it. And then I'm just kind of waiting to see what happened.
And obviously it rarely happens, but you knew you had to wait until after the at bat was over to lodge your complaint.
Right. And if he didn't do anything, we could let it go. And if something happened with Pablo, then we have a chance there also. And if nothing happens, just let it go till the next time around. Hope that it keeps happening. Give you a chance to do something with it.
You having any fun watching Yasiel Puig play baseball?
Oh, yeah. He's fun to watch. You see it. He's got that energy, and, you know, he makes the strikeout look good, right?
Yeah.
So he's fun to watch. I'm sure he probably irritates the other team, but he's fun from our side.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Don.
All right.
52-year-old manager Don Mattingly in his 3rd season with the Dodgers. 9-time Gold Glove Award winner, 6-time All-Star, over 2,100 hits, over 220 home runs, in the MVP in 1985. Pretty great resume for the Dodger manager.
I have never heard a manager say that one of his players looks good striking out. That's Yasiel after a swinging strike.
So 1 out, nobody on. Juan Uribe, who has impressed that man, Don Mattingly, with his attitude and how he's been a leader despite 2 dismal years after a 3-year contract. Uribe's 33 years old. This is year 3 of a $21 million deal. 2010 with these Giants at 248, but 24 home runs, 85 RBIs, hit 191 last year. Hit only 204, dealt with a hernia back in 2011. This year much better. And they need him. Here's a 1-2. Popped up. Nobody able to center Madison Bumgarner yet. 2 out.
That's a valid point. Not one ball has been hit hard off Bumgarner so far, and we're in the 5th.
Andre Ethier, who is playing center field, limited time in that spot defensively in the big leagues for Andre. But he is forced there with the injury to Kemp. And again for Kemp, he got a cortisone injection yesterday. He hurt his AC joint in his left shoulder last night. But they hope it's just today and tomorrow and get him back in there at the start of next week. Strike 1 on Ethier, who grounded out his first time. Now just 2 for 20 against this giant left-hander. Ball and a strike. On 1-1. That's strike 2.
Fastball is the best pitch to spot. And Bumgarner's proving that this afternoon. In, out, up and down. Breaking ball here.
And Ethier spoiled it. Did not head in the direction where the glove of Buster Posey was sitting, and the count stays 1-2. Federovich on deck. Bumgarner was barely 21 years old when he beat the Rangers in Game 4 in Texas in the 2010 World Series. 8 innings, no runs. Last year won Game 2, 7 shutout innings against Detroit. Just 23 years old. 2-2. Tenth overall pick in 2007. Ripped right through the minors, 34-6. 44-35 as a big leaguer. 2-0 in the World Series. Here comes his 2-2 to Ethier with 2 out. Just missed. Ball 3.
41,000 umpires here at AT&T Park in San Francisco disagree. Close.
Ethier fought it off. Six strikeouts for Madison Bumgarner. Not a hit.
Not a base runner.
Fly ball into left. That will drop for a base hit. And the Dodgers have their first base runner, their first hit. It's Ethier here in the 5th. After almost striking out on that 2-2 pitch, Andre Ethier drops one into left.
Playing deep in left field is Andres Torres. Ethier with pretty good power to left field. It dumps one in front of him, the first Dodger base runner this afternoon.
And so with 2 out, the inning continues for Federovich. Strike 1. Bumgarner had that look, didn't he?
Yes.
Like it was going to be a historic day. Now Federovich charges one out to left. From the first hit to the first runs, and a 2-run game here in the 5th inning in San Francisco. Home run number 3 for Tim Federovich.
It's tough to read a crowd, but I think the crowd here, the reason they're booing is that 2-2 pitch to Ethier. They thought Bumgarner should have had it. Ethier singles, and now Federovich with his 3rd home run of the year. He got all of it. Tough park in which to hit home runs. Big hit for the Dodgers.
A.J. Ellis is the primary catcher for the Dodgers as Nick Punto stands in, takes a strike. With Federovich, who was part of the deal and brought Stephen Fife to the Dodgers, getting the start today, and Tim has cut the lead in half, a 4-2 game. Now the 0-1. Strike 2. So Bumgarner was inches away from a perfect game through 5. Dodgers get a hit, then a home run. And Punto spoils that 0-2 pitch. Here's that 2-2 pitch to Ethier.
It was a fastball on that 2-2 count. Call the ball. Then on the 3-2 pitch, a little dumper in front of Torres in left field, and then the home run by Fedorovich.
Off the plate, right side, and foul. So Punto, who struck out his first time, will come back to the plate with an 0-2 count. Dodgers have won the last 4 against the Giants. Recent series, 3-game sweep, then last night 10-2. They beat Matt Cain, who'd been pitching so well. Cain suffered through a 6-run third inning, 8 runs total, and 2 1/3. Another 0-2 pitch. Back to Bumgarner. And the frustrated left-hander gets the out at first. The Dodgers are on the board. A 2-out hit, followed by a 2-run shot by Fedorovich halfway through it on a Saturday evening in San Francisco. Dodgers back in at 4-2 game. Giants coming up. Find new roads. There's a road. It's not new. Nope. Aerial coverage of today's game brought to you by the Minions flying the Despicablimp and Universal's animated comedy Despicable Me 2. Now playing everywhere. He's a villain with a heart. Despicable. Yeah, sure. Here's Sandoval leading it off, bottom of the 5th in a 4-2 game, and Fife misses up and away, and this game has an entirely different feel to it now after that 2-run shot by Fedorovich. Fife is hanging in there. This is down and in, 2-0. Sandoval, then Posey, then Pence. The 2-0 pitch. 2-1. Talking to Bruce Bochy, he believes the Giants are making some headway again with Pablo Sandoval and his weight. It's been an issue.
Real problem.
Here's a 2-1. Shattered bat and a base hit into left center field. Crawford brings it back into the infield, and the leadoff man is on for the Giants here in the 5th. Sports' biggest event of the summer is heading to New York, and the festivities begin Monday, July 15th. The Home Run Derby. It's on ESPN. Then on Tuesday, July 16th, the Midsummer Classic kicks off with a red carpet show on MLB Network, followed by this year's All-Star Game at 7:30 Eastern here on Fox. Here's an All-Star, Buster Posey. He and Yadier Molina will share the catching duties. Yadier Molina is struggling with a bad knee right now. In case you're wondering, and the All-Stars were announced on our pregame show before the start of this one. Here are the All-Star starters as voted on by the fans. And you can't really quarrel with any of the picks. I mean, you can always make a case for one guy over another, but nothing ridiculous with the starting lineup for the National League, and really the same for the American League as Rick Honeycutt is going to jog out. Rick in his 8th season as pitching coach with the Dodgers. So while they talk, we'll show you the AL side. And you will notice 3 Baltimore Orioles, including Chris Davis, who homered today.
Robinson Cano voted in. Of course, there are a lot of Dustin Pedroia fans out there that voted for him. He was just behind Cano. Adam Jones, the first time he's been voted in as the starting center fielder, with J.P. Howell, the left-hander, throwing for the Dodgers.
Ken Rosenthal is with us. Kenny, you have any gripes with the picks?
Well, there's going to be one huge gripe here in the Bay Area, and that's only one Oakland Athletic making the team, Bartolo Colon. Grant Balfour, perfect and save opportunities, did not make it.
Here's a base hit into left off the bat of Buster Posey in the 3-4 combo of Sandoval and Posey on to start this 5th inning, with Hunter Pence coming up. Go ahead, Kent.
Now, Jim Leland, Joe, took 2 lefties rather than another right-hander. He's got Rivera and Nathan from the right side in the bullpen. He took Brett Cecil, and he took Glenn Perkins. Also left off from the A's, Josh Donaldson, having a great year at third base, but that's a really tough position. You got Miggy Cabrera. You've got Manny Machado, who was a player's choice. Ben Zobrist becomes the utility man, and Josh Donaldson gets left off.
So 2 on with nobody out. And Hunter Pence could be the last batter faced by Stephen Fife, with the left-handed hitting Brandon Belt on deck, and Howell, the left-hander, getting loose. Here's a 1-0. Off the end of the bat, popped up. Will it stay in play? It is out of the reach of Fedorovich. Strike 1. Hunter Pence at the plate. 3 things you need to know. Attended 12 schools before attending high school in Arlington, Texas. The unconventional throwing style began around age 12 with a sore shoulder, and he follows the paleo diet. Which is, here's a 1-1 pitch.
Got me.
Throw down to first, and it's thrown down the right field line by Fedorovich. The runners will advance to second and third as Puig gets it back in. That'll be an error on the Dodger catcher.
Don Mattingly said last inning that there were some things that Puig does to irritate the other team. Well, this is one of them. That ball actually hit the rear end of Buster Posey and caroms into right field. And watch Puig when he makes the play in foul territory. With Sandoval on at first or at third, he fakes a throw. Looks like he's going to throw when the proper play is to get rid of the ball as quickly as possible. That irritates the opposition.
Might irritate his own side if he doesn't get it back into the infield.
You got it right.
Anybody else, and you have to know who the runner is,
sure,
but anybody other than Sandoval, with the way Puig played that down the right field line, there are a lot of guys who would have gone.
Oh, sure.
He's almost daring somebody to run on him.
You don't dare major leaguers to run on you, because if you do, they will. He'll find that out, maybe.
Second and third, nobody out. 2 balls and a strike on Pence. And a squirter off the end of the bat. That will not do anything except become out number 1. So Pence does not take advantage of the throwing error by Federovich. And we'll see if Belt faces Fife or what the Dodgers want to do. You've got Torres on deck, a base open, and Howell ready in the bullpen if Don Mattingly wants to go that way.
Yeah, the thing about Brandon Belt, if you bring the left-hander in, and it looks like Donnie's going to do that, he's actually hitting better against left-handed pitching this year than right-handers. So what he may do, make a double switch, bring the left-hander in, walk Belt, and pitch to Torres. We'll see.
We'll get a double switch with the number 9 spot due up first in the 6th inning. Howell's coming in. Fife is out. Howell is in the game, as is Mark Ellis, taking over at second base for Nick Punto. Ellis will bat in the number 9 spot as Belt stands in second and third, 1 out, strike 1.
I think it's odd, Joe, seeing the infield back. Dodgers trail by 2. You're in the middle of the ball game, and I think you got to play the infield at least halfway. You don't have a fast runner on at third base. So if you played halfway, you do the same damage defensively. I'm surprised to see the infield back.
There are the numbers for Fife, who's knocked out here in the 5th. The error did not help from Fedorovich's catcher. Tim's home run did in the top of this inning to make it a 4-2 game as Belt took a pretty good pitch. Called ball 1. Brandon has been hit by a pitch, scored a run, singled, and was out stealing. And as you said, Tim, against left-handers this season, the power and production not there, but the average is up.
Yeah. All the Giants need is a single here.
Runners at second and third. Sandoval at third. Posey at second, 1 away. Up by 2. That's strike 2. The bullpen for the Dodgers has been a problem. They started the day with a group ERA of 4.39. That's 28 in Major League Baseball.
Man.
They've had to shuffle some roles out there, and now Jansen is the closer. He and Paco Rodriguez, a left-hander, kind of anchor the late innings. Brandon League started the season as the closer, and he has been pushed earlier into the game, and now the infield does come in for the Dodgers with 2 strikes on Belt. The 1-2. 2 out. Good pitch. And Belt was fooled. That's the first strikeout of a Giant hitter in this game, and it's a big one for the Dodgers.
That's a disappearing breaking ball. That ball going under the bat of Brandon Belt. Might be the best pitch of the game so far for the Dodgers. A big, big situation.
And so now with 2 out, runners at second and third. Here's Andres Torres, who has singled, reached on an error, scored 2 runs. Giants put their first 2 on in this inning. Had second and third, nobody out. Now it takes a hit or something out of the ordinary to make it a productive 5th. And that's up the middle. Ellis, what a play. Got him at first to end the inning. Off the mound, and Mark Ellis just into the game. Had to throw on the run with his momentum carrying him away from first. Big stretch by Gonzalez, and that saves 2. Howell loved it. 4-2 game after 5 in San Francisco. Gotta Live Moss. And by Budweiser, America's beer supports America's heroes. 6th inning now, Dodgers batting, and Mark Ellis, who just saved 2 runs with his glove, leads it off. First at bat, batting in the number 9 spot. Takes a ball. Bumgarner so close to going through 5 perfect. Instead, he allowed a 2-out hit, then a 2-run home run. Ethier first, then Fedorovich. There's a strike, a ball and a strike with Ellis, Crawford, and Puig, the hitters here in the 6th inning. Here's a 1-1 pitch. In the air to center. Ellis has been struggling swinging the bat, and over to grab it is Blanco. 1 out. Let's go back to that play by Ellis with second and third 2 out. He showed a ton of range.
No, he really did. Going to his right, and as you stated correctly, going away from first base, all the momentum going towards center. How do you get enough on it? Well, he did. Good play by Gonzalez on the back end.
So Ellis makes that play, flies out to center to start the 6th. Here's Crawford. Ball 1 low. Carl's fly to left, grounded out. Hitting .293. Activated yesterday off the disabled list when the Dodgers sent down Scott Van Slyke. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Outside, 2-0. This is a Dodger team that has won 11 of 13, and you have to believe that they're sitting here down by 2 runs in the 6th inning. The way they've been playing, believing they're going to win this game. Here's a 2-0. 2-1. Confidence. Such a difference maker, even as a group. And this is a Dodger team that has to get off the team bus knowing they've got Puig on their side, a red-hot Hanley Ramirez, anxious to get into the clubhouse, get on the field, and play baseball, as opposed to the first couple months of the season when it was miserable around the Dodgers.
Yeah, Puig on deck right now.
There's a foul to make it 2-2.
He is the main reason to turn the Dodgers around, even though Hanley Ramirez has really contributed.
I'm sure there were times with those great Cardinal teams you played with in the 60s when you got to the stadium getting off the team bus. It's a good feeling, isn't it, when you can get off the bus knowing we've got a group that should win today's ball game.
You know that you can overcome any adversity. When you're spinning back, not a good feeling.
For out number 2. And 7 on the day for Bumgarner. So Crawford is down. He's 0 for 3, and here's Puig. One of his teammates described Puig to me today as playing like a little leaguer, where he just keeps running until somebody tags him out.
Like it's 8 bases out there. I talked to Roberto Echeverria, who is a Sterling professor of Hispanic and comparative literature at Yale University. And I said, we got to have a nickname for Puig. Minnie Minoso, you remember back in the 50s,
sure,
they called him the Cuban Comet. I said,
swing.
Yeah, Puig is so colorful. He's just great for the game. And he suggested El Cohete Cubano. El Cohete Cubano. C-O-H-E-T-E. It stands for the human missile or the human rocket.
Here's one inside, and the count 2-1.
Roberto has written a lot about the 50s. Minnie Minoso, Orestes Minoso, great Cuban player that some people think should be in the Hall of Fame, and I'm one of them.
Here's a 2-1 pitch upstairs to Puig. 3-1. So you going with that? You going to market that?
Cojeta Cubano. That's my next T-shirt.
Lunch boxes.
From Puig Factor to Cojete Cubano.
Here's a 3-1. It's full count. I mean, every swing this guy takes.
It's forever.
Crowd into it on 3-2. He has struck him out for the 3rd time today. Bumgarner 8 strikeouts, a 2-run lead after 5.5. Big swing all day long, coming up with nothing for Yasiel.
Andrelton Simmons and Dan Uggla have homered. Justin Upton has added an RBI single. Atlanta trying to help Tim Hudson earn his first win in over 2 months. Astros and Rangers in Major League strikeout leader. And as we learned today, two-time All-Star Yu Darvish trailing at home. Clint Barmas got him for his 4th of the year. It's 4-0 Astros. Rangers batting in the bottom of the 5th as we send you back out to Joe and Tim in San Francisco.
Matt, thank you. We move into the bottom of the 6th inning here, a 4-2 game with the Giants on top. J.P. Howell, who finished off the 5th, is back out there for the 6th inning. At the start of the day, the A's led in the AL West by a half game over Texas. As this one drives the batter Brandon Crawford off the plate, ball 1 inside. It'll be Crawford, then Bumgarner, and Gregor Blanco. As Ronald Belisario, the hard-throwing right-hander, gets loose. The 1-0 pitch. That's driven foul down the right field line. A ball and a strike. Go to MLBFanCave.com and pledge your NL or AL allegiance. And we ask you to not miss the action of 2013 All-Star Game Tuesday, July 16th. At 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, here on Fox. Here's a 1-1. 2-1. Here are 3 things that Pete Macheska, our producer, has determined you need to know about Brandon Crawford. Sister is dating Pirates rookie Garrett Cole.
His sister Amy.
Favorite player growing up, Royce Clayton. And that's because he grew up a Giants fan. Dad had season tickets to Candlestick. There's a strike, 2-2. And I can tell Brandon, I'm sure he's met Royce along the way over the years, but he would not be disappointed in the person, Royce Clayton, as he admired the player Royce Clayton growing up. Good man.
Yes, he is. One of the stars in Moneyball, in fact.
That's right.
Yep.
Here's a 2-2. Off the hands, back to the screen, and then had the very difficult task of going to St. Louis and becoming the everyday shortstop Royce Clayton did, and taking over for Ozzie Smith.
About replacing a legend.
Yeah.
My God.
Goes into the category of you want to be the guy to replace the guy who replaced the legend. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's strike 3 over the inside corner. And Crawford is out number 1 here in the 6th inning.
Good breaking ball from Howell. Usually when a catcher goes from the outside part of the plate to the inside part of the plate, you don't get that pitch. But Howell did.
We gave you 3 things to know about Hunter Pence earlier, and we said the paleo diet, which is also known as the caveman diet, if that's the politically correct way to
because it's all meat
it.
Or
it's all protein.
All protein.
Is it politically correct to say cavemen, or they're upset the
Geico
cavemen
does it.
Society of Cavemen Society
if
of America?
Geico can do it, we can.
I don't know that they're the barometer of things that we can do here during a baseball game. 2 strikes on Madison Bumgarner. Good point, fair point. As Howell has retired all 3 hitters he's faced, got out of a jam last inning, and some of these pitches are just disappearing when they get to the plate. That's ball 1. Bill Webb, our director, has been showing you the shadows that have been creeping toward home plate, now across home plate and almost all the way across the mound. But coming out of the sunlight into the shade with a count of 1-2. Bumgarner overmatched, 2 out. Give you a look at the Fox Sports 1 game summary presented by Fox Sports 1, America's new sports network, coming August 17th. And for the Giants, they'd love to get a win and then be able to laugh about batting out of order in the first inning, although There'll be plenty written about it and said about it after this game. Gregor Blanco, who's been struggling 3 for 3 with an RBI, and Tim Fedorovich getting the start today, catching Stephen Fife, the starter for the Dodgers, went deep. The only runs for LA so far in the 5th, a 2-run shot. And that little back-to-back of Ethier and Fedorovich, the only base runners.
The game is so weird, isn't it, Joe? I mean, Gregor Blanco enters the game today 0 for his last 25, and he's hit 3 balls hard, 3 for 3.
Howell snaps at it as he gets it back from Fedorovich, who committed an error. There have been 3 errors committed by the Dodgers in this game, and because of it, for Stephen Fife, 4 1/3 innings, 4 runs on 7 hits, only 1 earned run. Here's a 1-0, 2-0. From June 25th through the 3rd of July, look at these numbers. And at the bottom, a combined 5 for 94 for these regulars for the Giants, and not 1 extra base hit. 5 singles. Here's a 2-0. Ball 3 as Howell looked in at the home plate umpire, hoping to get strike 1. Instead, he's behind on the count with Scudero on deck. Those numbers are reason why the Giants have lost 12 of their last 14. There's ball 4. And a 4-pitch walk to keep the 6th inning alive for Scudero. The first base runner. We'll see if Belisario comes into the ball game or if Howell stays in. So Scudero's walking in. Ken Rosenthal is warming up. What do you got, Kenny?
Well, a very special moment for Marco Scudero today, Joe. 37 years old, a first-time All-Star. He wasn't even a regular until 2009, and right now he is playing hurt. His back is out of alignment. It falls out of alignment, and the Giants athletic staff, led by trainer Dave Greshner, they had to adjust him 4 times before, during, and after yesterday's game. Greshner says one of the toughest guys he's been around.
Real good guy, and as we said during his last at-bat, a huge addition for this championship Giants team a year ago. That miss is outside. 5 in a row of missed from Howell. Ball 1 to Scudero.
Giants would not have won without him last year. The MVP in the National League Championship Series, when the Giants were down 3-1 to the St. Louis Cardinals and came back to win 3 in a row.
That was after they were down 2-0 to Cincinnati, losing 2 at home.
Unbelievable.
And then getting past the divisional series, and then they made quick and easy work of Detroit in the World Series. 4 and out. Beat the Rangers in 2010. The Tigers last year. It started today 7 under 500 and 5.5 out. Blanco drew a walk, on base for the 4th time in this game. And a 1-0 pitch is in for a strike from J.P. Howell. Here comes a 1-1 from Howell. Instead, a check on Blanco, who has a very small lead. Gregor has stolen 9, been caught 5 times.
I don't think I've ever seen a situation where a left-handed pitcher is throwing to first base, coming out of the shadows and to the first baseman. It's got to be tough to see for Adrian Gonzalez.
The 1-1. Not close.
Reminiscent of the 1963 World Series when at Dodger Stadium, Joe Pepitone lost a ball in the throw to first base. That was a pivotal play in the Dodgers winning one of either Game 3 or Game 4. odd.
Sunglasses on for Adrian Gonzalez. Here comes a 2-1. Late swing by Scudero, strike 2. Howell ready with a 2-2 pitch. Fedorovich keeps it at the plate, a full count, and that means that Blanco will take off with this next pitch. Scudero was picked up from Colorado last year. Hit .362 for the Giants down the stretch. In the NLCS against the Cardinals, hit .500. Became a free agent at the end of the year and actually got some attention from St. Louis during the offseason, but signed a 3-year deal to remain with San Francisco.
St. Louis is doing all right at second base with the all-star Matt Carpenter.
That's right. Runner will go. 3-2 is grounded to Uribe. Across it goes, and off we head into the 7th inning. Dodgers will come to the plate. Dodgers came into today's game rolling. It has been ugly at times for LA, but a 2-run game. Dodgers coming up. Back after this from your local Fox station. We go to the 7th inning. On a beautiful night in San Francisco, it will be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Dodgers. That means Adrian Gonzalez, Hanley Ramirez, Juan Uribe against Madison Bumgarner. Pitch number 99 is ball 1. 0 for 2 is Gonzalez. Strikeout and a ground out. It's a 2-run game. Bumgarner's been in charge except for 2 hitters. A 2-out hit by Ethier in the 5th, followed by a 2-run home run by Fedorovich. Otherwise, he's been perfect. Sandy Rosario, the right-hander, getting loose. Bullpen has been good for Bruce Bochy this year. manager of the Giants. That is a chopper. Hit to Crawford. 1 out. And Hanley Ramirez will be the hitter. Down below, we look up. Aerial coverage of today's game brought to you by the Minions flying the Despicable Imp in Universal's animated comedy Despicable Me 2, now playing everywhere. Here's Hanley Ramirez. Mark McGuire, his hitting instructor, told us before the game that his movement from his position prior to the pitch to the ball with his hands is as sound as he has ever seen. Directly to the ball, and he's been hitting line drives since he came back off the disabled list.
Every hitter has to trigger their swing, meaning going back and going forward. It's how quickly you get the bat back and how quickly you get it forward. And that's why hitters and hitting instructors calling it quick to the ball.
Here's a ground ball foul outside third. There's also been a difference, the Dodgers will tell you, as you watch the swing of Hanley Ramirez in the maturity level for Hanley Ramirez, who had some days that I'm sure he's not too proud of with the Marlins. But Don Mattingly said, I heard about all that, and since he's come to the Dodgers, we have seen nothing but a professional since he's put on the Dodger blue. Here's a foul backing out of play. He came to spring training, looked great, got hurt during the World Baseball Classic, was part of a winning effort there, and Don Mattingly saw something even more from Hanley Ramirez when he came back after the WBC.
As far as his pride was concerned. Dominican Republic winning 8 straight in the WBC.
Another 1-2 from Bumgarner is way outside, ball 2. So with a right-hander Rosario getting loose, Bumgarner will throw pitch number 106. That is a rocket into left field, back at the track. It's dropped. Torres got there but could not hang on, and Ramirez will end up at third base with 1 out.
Now that bat and those hands were quick to the ball. Talk about a rocket.
Oh. And Ramirez got around second base and turned it on when there was a bit of a bobble right there, and Hanley's got a 1-out triple.
One more look at those lightning hands of Ramirez.
Torres got there but could not hang on off his glove. And now a run is sitting over there for Uribe, who drove home 7 last night. What a pick by Sandoval. Play at the plate, got him. 2 out.
What a play. Not a good play by Ramirez. Good to go to third base, but coming home, you've got to let the ball go through. Sandoval with the pick and the throw and the tag. If the Dodgers are trailing by 1 run, that's worth the chance. When they're trailing by 2, it's not.
What a terrific play by Pablo Sandoval on that short hop. Showing great hands, and then the throw good enough. And now it's a runner at first, 2 out for Andre Ethier. Ball 1 outside. A beat LA chant from the crowd here at AT&T Park. Ethier tying run at the plate. Up on the count 2-0. Now Javier Lopez, the left-hander, joins Sandy Rosario in the bullpen for the Giants. Get the feeling for Bumgarner. This is the last batter he'll face. Right-handed hitting catcher Fedorovich on deck. That's a strike. 2-1. Runner at first, 2 out. Strike 2.
Ethier dropped the ball in front of Torres in left field his last time up. And I noticed where Torres is playing him in about 5 feet in left field. A lot closer than he was the last time.
A bit high, a full count. And Uribe will take off at first. Belt with a left-handed batter is going to back up and not hold against the runner. Bumgarner trying to finish the top of the 7th. Does. And the strikeout is the 9th of the day for the left-hander, the 23-year-old Madison Bumgarner. Off the glove of Torres in left, went for a triple. But the Panda took care of it with a short hop on the ball hit by Uribe. The tag by Posey. Still a 2-run game. Time to stretch in San Francisco. Improving. And by Bayer Advanced Aspirin, the official pain reliever of MLB. Bottom of the 7th inning rolls in. Madison Bumgarner looks to be finished for the day. Jacket on and getting congratulations. If it is the end of his day, 7 innings, 2 runs, 3 hits, 9 strikeouts, no walks. Here's Belisario, the right-hander, 3rd pitcher of the day for the Dodgers. 4-2 game, and Sandoval fouls it away, strike 1. A lot of action this season for Ronald. Game number 42. ERA over 4. Sandoval, then Posey, then Pence. Switch hitter Sandoval to start it. He just cut down a run at the plate with that good defensive stop in the top of this inning. One ball, one strike. Sandoval has one hit in this game, 1 for 3. Singled to start the 5th, but was stranded. That skips in, ball 2. Sandoval, 2 very good years. His first year in the big leagues in 08, hit .345 and 145 at bats. Then in a full season in 2009, hit .330 with 25 home runs, 90 RBIs. Here's the 2-1. Good pitch, 2-2.
Capping things off with an MVP in the World Series last year. 3 home runs in game 1, 2 off Justin Verlander. Remember how excited this city was in this ballpark for game 1.
Here's a 2-2.
Then the Giants went on to sweep the Tigers, as you said earlier, Joe.
So they didn't get to celebrate the end of the World Series here at home, but this was, I think, in 2010, but even more so last year.
Me too. Yeah.
The most exciting atmosphere in a baseball stadium that we've experienced in a long time. What a play by Gonzalez, and Belisario wins that race to the bag. Boy, he's good over at first base. 1 out in the bottom of the 7th.
He's the Gold Glover at first base. Going to his right or falling to his right. He didn't have a chance to go to his right. And a good play by Belisario covering. Nice.
So 1 out. The ball was scorched. And now Uribe comes in, I think, to give Belisario a chance to catch his breath. So a deep breath, and now he takes on the reigning MVP, Buster Posey.
Gerald Dempsey Posey.
Nicknamed Buster by his dad. 1 for 3 today. Started the afternoon 9th in the league in hitting at .310. I'd love to know 3 more things about Buster Posey.
I bet you're going to get them too.
Really?
Yep.
There's a strike.
Ask and you shall receive.
Once played all 9 positions in a single game in college. Considered being a pediatrician if baseball didn't work out. It's worked out. He will not be a pediatrician.
No.
And he got his nickname from his dad. Ball 2, 2-1. While Buster Posey is in the top 10 in hitting, the league is led by Yadier Molina. Start of the day hitting .346. Did not play in the Cardinals' win over the Marlins earlier this afternoon. Bothered by a sore knee and was taken for tests. That's strike 2. Number 2 in the league is Michael Kadire. He had his 27-game hitting streak snapped by Clayton Kershaw when the Dodgers played the Rockies. Clayton gets the ball tomorrow. There's a strikeout for out number 2. Here's one more thing about Buster Posey. He saw his Lego likeness this week when the team was in Cincinnati. Over 5,000 Lego bricks were used to make the portrait. Took 40 hours to create. The exhibit, Big Leagues, Little Bricks, is currently on display at the Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory. Here's a chopper foul up the third baseline. Strike 1 on Hunter Pence.
It's our pal Sergio Romo, who's making quite a few appearances on radio here in San Francisco. Very, very popular.
He is unique.
He is.
Sergio Romo. And Sergio last year during the postseason was photobombing Ken Rosenthal and Aaron Andrews, and now Ken gets a little payback. Here's Pence taking strike 2. Sergio Romo's a closer. They had the kids of the players playing a little baseball game beforehand, before this game, and Romo was out there pitching.
Well, last year he loved to catch first pitches. He asked the Giants management if he could catch all the first pitches. He went there for about a month and a half of straight first pitches caught.
Kenny, if you have a nail clipper, do the guy a favor and hand it over. There's strike 3 in a 1-2-3 inning for Belisario. That keeps it a 2-run game going into the 8th inning. Dodgers coming up. It'll be the bottom part of their lineup. See, there you go. Turnabout, fair play. Kenny, just devious. Eighth inning, 4-2 still. And the Giants got exactly what they needed out of Madison Bumgarner, as Matt Cain had a short outing last night. Here's a line drive into left off the bat of Fedorovich, who homered in his previous at bat. Andres Torres is there for out number 1, picked up by Sandy Rosario, the new right-hander in the game for the Giants. Jerry Hairston Jr. will come off the bench and bat for the pitcher, Belisario, who had a perfect inning with 2 strikeouts. There are the numbers for Rosario. That ball was hit hard by Fedorovich, but right at Torres. 1 out. Javier Lopez, a left-hander, getting loose.
Giants with 4 left-handers in the bullpen. That is a rarity in Major League Baseball. They have 4 right-handers, 4 left-handers. So Bruce Bochy can really maneuver with the lead in the last 2 innings.
With 1 out, there's strike 1. Don Mattingly had the option of going with Skip Schumacher, the left-handed hitting outfielder, second baseman, but then he would have seen Javier Lopez. Instead, Don Mattingly sends up Hairston. And Hairston grounds one past Sandoval and down the line for what should be at least a double. Played perfectly by Torres in the corner. It's a one-out pinch hit double for Jerry Hairston Jr.
And if you may be wondering why Sandoval is not closer to the line, it's not a double situation. With a 2-run lead, the Giants are not protecting against a double, but protecting against a single. And that's why the ball down the line got by Sandoval. Good try by Pablo, but that's a double.
And now Ellis, who is 0 for 1 since entering in the 5th inning in a double switch. The Dodgers are 0 and 32 when trailing after 7 innings this season. But this Dodger team has a different feel to it than the one that piled up the majority of that statistic.
Boy, is that right?
There's a ball to start this at bat.
That's right on the money too, Joe. You're dealing with a different animal here in the Los Angeles Dodgers here for the last month.
They are the only team that does not have a win in that situation across the big leagues here in 2013. Ellis, tying run at the plate. Runner at second, 1 out in the 8th. He checked his swing, 2-0. On deck is a left-handed hitting Crawford. In the bullpen is the left-handed throwing Lopez. Lurking is Yasiel Puig. With 1 out, 2-1. Bumgarner, 7 innings, 2 runs, 3 hits, no walks, 9 strikeouts, and a home run allowed. Here is a 2-1 pitch. Left side, Sandoval, the diving stop, and got him for out number 2.
The second straight inning that Sandoval has made a great defensive play to get Hanley Ramirez, and now he gets Ellis.
So he robs Ellis of a hit while blowing a bubble, popping the bubble. He makes the diving stop, and that's the end of the day for Sandy Rosario.
Giants trying to pop their bubble.
I knew that was coming. Javier Lopez will take over. Carl Crawford is coming up. Tying run will be at the plate on the other side of the break here in the 8th. Season for new memories. For your chance to win a community field makeover and an all-new 2014 Impala, visit ChevyBaseball.com. 2 out, runner at second. Javier Lopez into the game, dealing with Carl Crawford. Strike one. Lefty on lefty, and I'm sure Crawford was up there looking for something away, and Lopez hit the inside corner to start the at-bat. Crawford 0 for 3. Flied out, grounded out, struck out. That was against Bumgarner. Here's the 0-1. That one's away, too far away, ball one.
Sandoval with 2 out, playing for a bunt with a runner at second base. I think the runner at second base takes priority. Crawford's trying to drive him in, not lay down a bunt and leave it up to Puig. I think if I were Sandoval, I'd play back about 5 feet.
Runner at second, 2 out. Ball 2 outside. Talked about the importance of this game for the Giants, and here in the 8th inning with Yasiel Puig on deck, Sergio Romo, the closer for the Giants, is getting loose. Either way, Puig will bat again before the end of this one. 2-1 pitch is on the corner, 2-2.
You're right about those pitches away. All 4 pitches have been away. 2 for strikes, 2 for balls.
Crawford trying to give his team a jolt. Lopez trying to end the top of the 8th right here. Lopez got him. Still a 4-2 game into the bottom of the 8th inning. Here in San Francisco, Giants on top. In theaters July 19th. And by Chevrolet, find new roads. Fox Sports 1 Fan Cam caught fans here at the ballpark who are excited about Fox Sports 1. America's new sports network coming August 17th. Here's Paco Rodriguez, who's been a nice find at the back end of the bullpen for the Dodgers.
He really has, with that unusual delivery where he takes the ball out of the glove. It looks like he opens up too quickly, but it's a very, very unusual delivery and really throws the hitter's timing off.
Brandon Belt, first up, takes the ball. Dodgers have made things official. We'll give you Ken Rosenthal after Belt does something here to start the 8th. Torres will follow, and then Crawford. Rodriguez trying to keep it a 2-run game. Giants have never trailed. Good pitch. Down and away, a ball and a strike. Belt has been hit by a pitch, singled, been caught stealing, and struck out. It is official as Ricky Nolasco is going to the Dodgers. It's been talked about for a long time that he was on the market. Scott Feldman, the right-hander, went to the Orioles. Ed Coletti, the general manager with the Dodgers, gets Nolasco after getting Marmol, former closer with the Cubs, during this past week. Carlos is getting himself back in shape. Agreed to a AAA assignment. Marmol has not pitched since the 20th of June, so like the Dodgers did last year with Brandon League, when they picked him up from Seattle and he became the closer, they hope that Marmol is a nice addition to a bullpen that's had, for the most part, a tough start to the year. Here's a 2-2.
In my opinion, Joe, watching Carlos Marmol as long as we have over the years, it's a matter, and I know it's not very simple, but it's a matter of getting the hand on top of the slider. He has a tendency to drop the hand. And when you do that, the ball just spins and flattens out. He needs more downward movement to that slider, his best pitch.
Here's a 2-2. A strikeout starts the inning.
Like that.
Marmol's working with Rafael Chavez, who is the minor league pitching coordinator for the Dodgers, and you'd like, if you're Marmol, to see break like that.
Yeah.
Even though it's from the other side, as Marmol tries to regain form, a former All-Star. And I think worth the risk or worth the shot. Why not?
Absolutely. Why not?
So 1 out. Andres Torres has been busy out in left field at the plate. He's been on base twice, and he takes a strike. So Ken Rosenthal, you were one of the first to report that deal, maybe the first. I don't know. I know you writers get territorial with that stuff online. And we've covered the Dodgers side as Torres is in the hole here, 0-2. What about the Giants? What do? They're right in the thick of it in the NL West as well.
Joe, they're in the thick of it, but they started the day 7 games below 500. And when you're in that position, it's hard to justify unloading prospects for veterans. And that's where they are right now. And they also have a number of needs. A starting pitcher. They were in on Nolasco. A right-handed hitting outfielder with Pagan out. They could use some bullpen help, some bench help. But until they start playing better, until the guys here start winning some more games, their front office is not going to feel like it's a great position to be in the trade market.
And it doesn't seem, Kenny, like they have a wealth of prospects from which to deal.
They don't, Joe. And their farm system, Baseball America rated 28th out of 30 to start the season. They've got some prospects, but they're all in Class A. And a lot of teams don't want those kinds of prospects in deals anymore. They want guys closer to the big leagues, though in this Nolasco deal, pitchers that the Dodgers are sending to the Marlins are not high echelon guys because the Dodgers are taking all of the money, about $5.5 million.
And they seem to be able to afford it. 1 out, nobody on. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rodriguez struck out Belt. And that is a loud foul ball left side.
And Joe, our information director Steve Horn came up with something that I've never really thought about exactly the way he put it before the game when we were talking. He said, you know, the Giants have been playing the type of competitive innings over the last 2 or 3 years that age you more quickly. And he's right.
Here's a strikeout for out number 2 here in the 8th.
Good play by Fedorovich. But there's a big difference in playing the types of innings that the Giants have played over the last 3 years, winning 2 world championships, but you pay for that. Those are different types of innings when you're playing for a World Series, when you're trying to come back in a league championship series, as the Giants did against the Cardinals last year. They take their toll. And that perhaps is what the Giants are going through, along with a lot of other things, but what they're going through this year.
2 out. Here's Crawford. Strike 1. Rodriguez showing good stuff here in the 8th inning. We'll show you who's coming up in the 9th inning for the Dodgers. They will be trailing by at least 2. But they will have 2 of baseball's hottest hitters, if not the 2 hottest hitters.
Right.
Coming up in the 9th. Here's the 0-1. Boy, he's looked good, Rodriguez. He could strike out the side here in the 8th.
You don't have too many left-handed hitters getting in the line to hit against Rodriguez, I'll tell you. That is a nasty slider.
Chris Withrow, a right-hander, was called up last Saturday, as well as Jose Dominguez, 2 hard-throwing young right-handers. So the bullpen a little different here lately for the Dodgers. That's ball 1. And Paco Rodriguez. And Dominguez pitched in last night's game. He can hit triple digits on the radar gun. And Withrow's not far behind. 2 out, bases empty. Paco Rodriguez struck out Belt, Torres, and now misses down and away with ball 2 to Crawford, who is now 7 for 57 since June 15th. Been playing with a sore hand, and that has to take its toll. That's low, a full count with Cole Gillespie on deck. Romo will take over in the 9th inning. Sergio will try to save it for the Giants and Bumgarner. And it will not be an easy road. Here's a 3-2 pitch. He struck out the side. Belt, Torres, and Crawford. And now who's coming up for the Dodgers? Puig, Gonzalez, and Ramirez. Big bats for Los Angeles into the 9th. They're down by 2. Join us next Saturday on Baseball Night in America. There's the lineup: Rockies, Dodgers, Cardinals, Cubs, Rangers, Tigers, Mets, Pirates, Red Hot Pirates, best record in baseball, Nationals and Marlins. It all starts next Saturday at 7 Eastern. Here's Sergio Romo. 19 for 22 in saved chances. Here's Yasiel Puig. It's Puig, then Adrian Gonzalez, and then Hanley Ramirez. So a tough road for Romo. Try and save it for Bumgarner. Giants need this game.
In the worst way.
Bumgarner gave him a great start. Good breaking ball in for strike 2. And Puig, who night after night, game after game, has been putting up 3 hits, is in danger of striking out for the 4th time in his 4 at-bats. Just got a piece.
Just keep going farther away. We talked about it earlier to try that National League pitchers will start trying to pitch Puig out of the strike zone to get ahead of him, and then finish farther out of the strike zone. That's what Romo will try to do. Another slider. More outside is Posey.
Strikes out for the 4th time in this game. And that's the first time Yasiel Puig has done that in the big leagues. Posey was set up in the Dodgers dugout.
At least in the on-deck circle, he had to be a foot outside. You're not going to see a catcher set up that far outside.
The pitch was closer to the plate than Posey.
Backed up a little, right.
And so 4 strikeouts for Puig. Now Adrian Gonzalez. Ball 1.
Here's Posey once again, posing. What else?
And now a 1-0 pitch to Gonzalez. Strike 1. Sergio Romo, we said it throughout the postseason last year, he's developed into the closer for the Giants. Does not have stuff that's going to light up a radar gun, but he just is tough, doesn't scare, and knows how to get outs. Strike 2. Just inside, and he went around. 2 out.
Gonzalez tried to hold up. Watch. Too far.
Hanley Ramirez stands in Sergio Romo's way as he looks for his 20th save of the season. Strike 1. Ramirez has one of just 4 Dodger hits in this game. A 1-out triple, then he was thrown out at the plate in the 7th on a great play by Pablo Sandoval on a ball hit by Uribe. Ball 1 upstairs. Good game here in San Francisco. Giants have never trailed. Led 4-0 after 4. 4-2 after 4.5 innings, and it stayed right there. Ball 2. The Giants team that came into the game having scored 2 or fewer runs in 7 of their last 8. Leading by 2 here in the 9th. Nasty pitch called inside. It's 3-1.
Tried to come inside with a slider, just missed.
Ramirez hits it down toward the end of the bat, should end it. Blanco is there. Giants win it 4-2. Romo saves it for Bumgarner for Madison win number 9. Fife gets the loss. He's 3-3. Save number 20 for Sergio Romo. And there it is, 2-hour, 56-minute game, 4-2 Giants. As we give you the Burger King plays of the game. Brought to you by Burger King, where taste is king, and it's Madison Bumgarner. 7 innings, 2 runs on 3 hits, 9 strikeouts, no walks. He was terrific today for the Giants when they needed him most. After losing last night 10-2, they get the win today 4-2. Rubber game of this series coming up tomorrow with Kershaw and Godin pitching. And for our producer, Pete Macheska, director Bill Webb, associate director Brian Biederman, and the broadcast associate Jordan Harrison. For Tim McCarver, Ken Rosenthal, Joe Buck, there's the final. Matt and Dan coming up from the studio after the break.